Numbers tell only half the story, and trade wars hide more than they reveal. Societies provide the real context. The enduring global rivalry, particularly between the United States and China, is frequently framed through economic metrics like gross domestic product, GDP, and export figures, or through grand strategy and debates over tariffs. However, this fixation on trade and technology obscures a deeper truth. The actual contest for global leadership will ultimately be decided by the societies that sustain these powers, not solely by their economies or expansionist policies. For decades, global competition was viewed through the binary of the Washington Consensus, market liberalism, and the Beijing Consensus, state-led growth. It is time to move beyond this framework, adopting a decolonial perspective that envisions a pluriversal world order. Critiques of great power rivalry, however, often remain confined to abstract debates about who gains, who declines, and who sets the rules. What is often missed is the decisive role of social cohesion, moral legitimacy, and institutional adaptability, elements that determine which powers survive and which collapse, far more than armies or GDP. Historically, the rise and fall of empires have depended critically on internal dynamics. Non-Western development strategies in the 19th century, in the Ottoman Empire, China, Russia, and Iran, began with military modernization but quickly expanded to include profound social reforms. Even decolonization was influenced by the Westernization path to development. While the West long provided the model for modern state and society, its supremacy is now contested. The West's social fractures and China's question, today, the most pressing challenges are social as well as geopolitical. Western societies, from Europe to the US, and even westernized non-Western contexts, are grappling with polarization, inequality, demographic decline, loneliness, and crises of legitimacy. The US remains the preeminent military, economic, and political power, yet its greatest adversary may be internal. Domestic fractures, including drug abuse, gun violence, and bitter culture wars, expose vulnerabilities more profound than any external threat. The U.S. faces crises of legitimacy at home and credibility abroad, further eroded by its involvement in humanitarian catastrophes. China presents a contrasting image. It exhibits low crime and homelessness, tight suppression of vices like drugs and gambling, secure cities, and an apparently functional state. Its governance model, based on citizen obedience, provides a remarkable capacity to mobilize. However, this model has its own weaknesses. The one-child policy, initially an economic and social success, resulted in long-term consequences: demographic decline, weakened family ties, and social atomization, ultimately undermining China's strength. Uncritical compliance, while allowing rapid change, carries unintended, long-term consequences. Furthermore, while China defines itself as a resilient civilization with an inclusive historiography, it remains to be seen if it can project a truly ecumenical vision, one that can connect with others, address migration, and engage with rising populations in Africa, needed to secure global power in an interconnected world. A cautionary tale: the Soviet lesson. The Soviet Union provides a clear, cautionary tale. Its collapse was not due to military weakness, but to social failure. A society that lost faith in its own vision could not endure. The lesson is explicit. Power is not merely about data, weaponry, or economic output. It is fundamentally about the social realities that make power sustainable. Great power competition is thus not just a global political struggle, but a sociological one. While states compete on the global stage, their fates are decided by their societies. To understand the future of the world order, the focus must shift from geopolitics to the deeper social currents that shape the destinies of nations.